Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Monday. Big week coming up for Arsenal. West Ham on Wednesday night, Leeds at the weekend. Can they back up that victory against Southampton and get themselves right back in the mix for a possible top four spot? They're giving them a chance, give themselves a chance for that win at Southampton. Really need to sort of back it up now. Be a big victory against West Ham if they can manage to do that on Wednesday night, and then going away to Leeds. Got to get a result away from home at the moment. Being a bit of a struggle, those defeats at Liverpool, Man United, Everton. Got to show that they can do it on the road. At home, they've been very good this season. The record speaks for itself. It's just away, as usual, when it comes to Arsenal, where they are struggling. Have had a couple of good wins, that one at Leicester, especially one at Burnley, but need to pick it up again after those bad 3 defeats. And Leeds won't be easy. They're a team that presses. Arsenal don't like to play against a team that presses, and Leeds certainly will do that. Going to be interesting to see how Arsenal get on in what's going to be a very hot and feverish atmosphere, I imagine, at Ellen Road. I will be at the Emirates on Wednesday night for West Ham. That's going to be my last game, though, until New Year's Day in Manchester City. I'm away for Christmas, so I'm not going to be at Leeds. My final day of work is on Friday. Won't be at Leeds. Won't be at the quarter-final, semi-final. I can't remember. It's quarter-final, isn't it? The League Cup against Sunderland, and then what else do I miss? I can't even remember. Norwich on Boxing Day, and there's another one I think. So I missed 4 games, and hopefully my run of me not being there, sort of coinciding with a defeat, ends, because I can't be dealing with all those defeats between now and New Year's Day. So I will be at Emirates on Wednesday, and Mikel Arteta will be speaking ahead of that game tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see what Mikel has to say. 10 a.m. tomorrow, that press conference will no doubt be dominated by talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Arsenal's club captain, banished from the training ground last week, told not to report on Friday after reporting home late from a trip abroad to see his mum, which was approved by Arsenal. He was supposed to come back on Wednesday, but he came back on Thursday. David Ornstein over The Athletic wrote a big piece on it today, which was quite interesting. He was saying that Aubameyang flew in on Thursday morning at early hours and still got into training on Thursday, and thought that would be okay, but it wasn't. Arsenal wanted him back on Wednesday, and there was issues with the COVID test as well. He needed to have a COVID test when he got home in the UK, and then had to quarantine until he gets a positive result. He didn't know that, or there was a mix-up. I think he took a test when he was in France and not when he was at home, and it all just got messed up in terms of COVID protocols and everything. And Arsenal not happy, Mikel Arteta not happy, and that's why the decision was made to do what he did for the game this weekend and leave Aubameyang out for a disciplinary breach. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how long this sort of banishment, punishment, whatever you want to call it, lasts for. Will he be back on Wednesday? I doubt it. Will he be back against Leeds? We just don't know. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see what Mikel Arteta has to say. He wasn't in the mood to talk about it after the game at the weekend. You all saw that press conference, no doubt. I would suggest he's probably going to have something slightly more to say tomorrow. He's going to need to, because of all the questions that are going to come his way, and you think it would have moved on by now, no doubt, if Aubameyang is allowed back in the training ground today, which presumably he would be. There will be talks going on about what's happened and punishment, internal punishment, all that sort of stuff. And so you'd think the story might well have moved on a little bit when it comes to Arteta's press conference tomorrow, so no doubt he'll give a bit of an update. The interesting thing, and certainly one of the questions he's going to get tomorrow, and he got on Saturday after the game but didn't answer, is what do you now do with the Arsenal captaincy? After what's happened with Aubameyang, after the fact that this isn't the first time it's happened with him, do you keep the armband on Aubameyang? It's been something that's been debated ever since Saturday. Lots of people talking about it. I was just reading Martin Keown's column in the Daily Mail about it. He said after the game on Match of the Day on Saturday night that it must be in serious doubt now. The captaincy must be hanging by a thread. I would tend to agree with him that you'd think it has to be something that is up for debate now, given what is going on with Auba and the fact this isn't the first time it's happened. You just can't have your captain setting a sort of bad standards, especially for such a young team, which Arsenal are. So you'd think it has to be up to date. I have no idea if he's going to be stripped to the captaincy. We'll have to wait and see on that. But if he is, interesting to think who could possibly follow him as the club captain and what will it have a negative impact on the dressing room? Because look, Aubameyang's got mates in the dressing room. We know that. So if he does lose the captaincy, what will Arteta be thinking? What will be going through his mind in terms of weighing up the positives and negatives of the whole thing? I think for me, the big thing about it is, will it have a big negative effect on the season? Will it affect the changing room? Will it affect the morale in the changing room, the atmosphere around the club? That's got to be something that you really, really, really weigh up. Aubameyang does have friends, we know that. He's close with a lot of people in that changing room. I wouldn't say that absolutely everyone is, that would be devastated or anything like that. He's, as with it, all changing rooms, some players like each other more than others, and Aubameyang's got, we know how tight he is with Lacazette and Pepe and people like that. And Arteta will have to weigh up the decision of, if he does take the captaincy of Aubameyang, what will it do with Aubameyang? Because whatever happens, Arsenal need Aubameyang at the moment. I can't imagine he's played his last game for the club. Surely not. I don't think it would be very easy for Arsenal to get him out in January anyway. He's going to the African Cup of Nations, he's on massive wages, he's not in the best of form. So I can't imagine clubs are going to be banging their door down to take him in January. So you're going to need Aubameyang one way or the other between now and the end of the season. So it's not a case of like he's played his last game for the club. So you've got to balance out, if you take the armband off him now, will that absolutely screw him over for the rest of the season? Will he down tools? Will he be so annoyed he couldn't be bothered to even try? You would hope not, because he's a professional, but it's a big decision. So you've got to weigh up that. You've got to weigh up the effect it will have on the rest of the change room and his mates and morale and all that sort of thing. And so it's not the easiest decisions for Mikel. We saw the Granit Xhaka situation when Unai Emery did it. I think ultimately the Granit Xhaka one was an easier one after what he did with the fans. There was just no way he couldn't carry on being Arsenal captain. So that was an easier situation. This one's a slightly tougher one for Mikel, but we know what Mikel's like. We know he's a stickler for his rules. We've seen that before, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does do this, but we don't know yet. But I think if he does, then you look at who are the candidates to come in. There aren't many, you have to say, when it comes to the Arsenal squad. Now, I've seen a few people talking about Aaron Ramsdale today, being a possible Arsenal captain. I mean, I just can't see it. Look, I love Aaron Ramsdale and what he's done since he's come in, his character, his personality, all that sort of stuff. Kind of ticks the boxes for a captain, but he's been at the club a couple of months. He's a young kid. I mean, it's just too early. You can't put the Arsenal captaincy. I know Tony Adams was 18 when he took the Arsenal captaincy, but I mean, it's just too early for Ramsdale. It just doesn't seem like that's a goer to me. I can't imagine that. I mean, there's not too many options in the squad. When you look at it, you look at Kieran Tierney's a standout. I think we're all expecting at some point Kieran Tierney will become Arsenal captain. Could it be now? I mean, he's got experience. He's internationally experienced. He's definitely captain Celtic. I'm not sure if he's captain Scotland yet, but he's definitely captain Celtic, so he knows the responsibility. Celtic, a massive club as well. He's a player that, when fit, he will play most games. Even I've seen Tavares has kept him out a bit recently after that injury, but Tierney's back in the side now, and he's very much Arsenal's first choice left back. There's no doubt about that. It's just that he is injured a lot. We have to say that with Kieran Tierney. So do you want your captain who's probably not got the best injury record and could be out half of the season? So that's something to consider. I think Gabriel's the other sort of standout candidate that you look at when it comes to the Arsenal captaincy. Big towering centre-back. Again, he's going to play every single game. His English has got much, much better in the course of the last year. He's a centre-back, which always helps with a captain, I think, just because you can see the whole pitch. So I'd say he's in there, and I don't really see Ben White being an option. You do have Lacazette, obviously, so you could always make a short-term appointment until the end of the season of just giving it to Lacazette and then making a more considered decision at the end of the season. So there is that option as well. But so I'd say those are probably the three: Tierney, Gabriel, and Lacazette are the three that you would look at and think, they are the standouts. I mean, you have Granit Xhaka as well, but there's just no way. You can't give the armband back to Granit Xhaka, no matter how much you like him, which Arteta clearly does. No matter the fact that he's Switzerland captain and he's absolutely experienced in it. But given what's happened at Arsenal and what happened last time you just can't. There's no way, surely, that Mikel could give Granit Xhaka the captain's armband back. So I just can't see that happening. I mean, he does it every now and again. Xhaka wears the armband to actually appoint him full-time Arsenal club captain. Not for me, not after what happened. I think that ship has sailed. So I think you're kind of looking at Tierney, Gabriel, and maybe all as, appointments now, or maybe Lacazette as a short-term thing through to the end of the season, and then make your choice in the summer. Potentially, you could even bring a new signing in who's ready-made captain material in the summer as well. So there is that option. So they're the three. But let me know, who do you think? Who should be Arsenal's next captain if Aubameyang loses the captaincy, which we don't know if he will yet at all. That's all something that's going to be decided over the coming days and weeks. The picture might become a little bit clearer when Mikel speaks to us tomorrow in that pre-match press conference. But let me know, who should be Arsenal captain? Should it be Aubameyang, or should Mikel take it off him and give the armband to someone else? Okay, before we go, just looking ahead to that big game against West Ham on Wednesday night. What a big game that would be for Arsenal to win. Actually, I haven't even looked. Let me just have a look at the Premier League table. Because West Ham's 0-0 draw, I mean, that was a big result for Arsenal yesterday. West Ham only drawing away at Burnley. So Arsenal are 6th now, just 2 points off the top four. God, those 6 drop points against Manchester United and Everton look so costly, don't they? Imagine if Arsenal had won those 2 games, which they quite easily could have done, should have done, to be honest. They'd be sitting on 32 points right now. They'd be 4 points clear of West Ham in 4th place. Wow, only 6 points off the top of the table as well. What a costly couple of defeats they were. But even so, Arsenal right back in the mix for the top 4 now. And if they beat West Ham, they will move above them in the table on Wednesday night. Manchester United sort of sit in between the two sides. We don't know. I think United have got Brentford, haven't they? But we're not sure, because United have got a few COVID cases. We're not sure if that game's actually going to go ahead or not. So time will tell on that one. But even taking United out of the equation, that match for Arsenal was just a massive one against West Ham. It would not really be a statement of intent if Arsenal beat them, because look, Arsenal tend to beat West Ham at the Emirates, and you would hope they can beat them. But it would just be a nice response to the really disappointing performances in the last few games, certainly away from home. If they can get that win against Southampton, which they did on Saturday, and then back it up with a win against a decent West Ham side who have shown this season that they are no mugs and they can beat the best teams, then it would be a nice little message to send out for that one. And Mikel's looking like he's got a good fit squad ahead of that game. Smith Rowe obviously didn't play again at the weekend. He didn't come off the bench, which is, in terms of his fitness, it's good. He's not got injured or anything like that, but he's going to have more days on the training ground. He'll be absolutely fully fit, and then you've got to make the decision of what do you do with Smith Rowe. Do you bring him back in, or do you continue to leave him on the bench? Because Martinelli's been playing very, very well. Saka, I thought, played well at the weekend. Martin Odegaard in that number 10 role played very well. I think it would be a case if Smith Rowe does come in, it'd be for Martinelli, and perhaps that's a little bit harsher on Martinelli at the moment because he's playing well. So that's one decent bit of team news. Smith Rowe absolutely ready to go. Gabriel, yes, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, yes, he came off against Southampton at the weekend, but that wasn't an injury. It was just a planned substitution because he was on a yellow card early on, and Mikel didn't want him to miss the West Ham game. I think Gabriel was going to be absolutely vital to that, as I said, with that sort of dealing with the physical presence of Mikel Antonio, who's so good in the air. You need your centre back. You need Gabriel, basically. Arsenal absolutely need him there. I think he's going to be competing with Antonio on that one. So he's fine. Obviously, we don't know about Aubameyang yet. Will he be considered for the squad? I can't imagine, even if he comes back into the starting 11. I'd say Lacazette's certainly going to start that game, and if Aubameyang is considered for a return, he'll just be on the bench. No starting 11 for the Arsenal captain. Apart from that, everyone looking pretty good, barring your Kolasinac, that sort of player. Leno, who's got an injury as well at the moment. But aside from those, Arsenal in pretty good shape, and that's what you want ahead of a big game like this one. All right, everyone, as I said, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m, keep your eyes peeled for Mikel Arteta's press conference. I'll be live tweeting that as it happens, so if you can't watch it, then you can follow it on my social media. And then match day Wednesday night at the Emirates, I will be there, so keep your eyes peeled for the usual stuff before the game. Live broadcasts from the warm-ups, reacting to the team news, and then hopefully, if I get time afterwards, player ratings. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. As always, have a very good Monday. I'll speak to you soon.